Hello YouTube, I'm the Raging Beard, this is the Playseat Challenge, and this is my review. First of all, let's talk about whether or not this seat is actually for you. The Playseat Challenge really has two overarching selling points: the reasonable price tag relative to other options, and of course its ability to fold up and stow away. Now, either or both of these two reasons are why you should be considering the Playseat Challenge. A brief search online shows you can pick it up for about £145, which is a fairly decent price when you consider lesser options such as the wheel stand profiles or the next level racing stand light for £120, or indeed purely just wheel stands. The Playseat Challenge though is more of a cockpit solution, a combined seat and chair, allowing for more realism and immersion and the all-important added rigidity, allowing you to brake as hard as you like, your pedals won't push away from you and your seat won't push back. Something most of us are all too familiar with starting out with an office desk and chair. Of course there are other budget options of a more rigid nature, albeit still more expensive, but if you're considering the challenge you're no doubt interested in its foldable nature, which above all is its unique selling point. I chose the Playseat Challenge because I'm a VR user for sim and non-sim games alike, and I wanted to retain the area for room scale games like Fallout 4 VR and Skyrim VR. Now, I'm not one to endure faff, which is why after a fair amount of research I chose the Playseat Challenge, and as it turns out I can have it set up or stowed away in less than a minute. With that in mind then, let's get straight to it and let me show you how convenient this cockpit can be. So as I said, the unique selling point is obviously that it folds away. So let's show you just how easy that is. It's set up, you've just got out of it, you lock the steering wheel in place, undo this here, let that drop, pull these two bits together, up it comes, grab your pedals, pull them up, that's it, job done. Notice, of course, I haven't touched the steering wheel or pedals in respect that they're still on the rig. I haven't had to unbolt anything, undo anything. Carry it around. I'll show you the side profile there. And here you go, just lean it against the wall. Job done. Put it in a cupboard. You know, you'll have your own place where to store it. I will say it folds better with a different set of pedals. This chair really isn't designed, I'd say, for anything above the Logitech equipment. I've got the Club Sport V3s on here, which are sort of too heavy. Pushing down on the brake hard, they'd lift up. I've solved that at the moment with some zip ties under here and a Velcro strap round here, which otherwise would go around the front and hold them in place. With the Logitech fit pedals, it works perfectly. I'd say this is, bearing in mind the budget, this is designed for something around the Logitech or maybe the lower end Thrustmaster stuff. Now, when you're moving it about, when you're carrying it about, you grab it by this bit, but don't lift it by the back of the seat. That literally slots in place. If you pull it, that will just pull out. I just put my hand through the gap and grab here. Easy as. Now, setting up again is obviously just the reverse. Just drop the pedals, lower that down, your seat's out, pull this up, tighten that, job done. Your cockpit's ready to go. Now this seat has some level of adjustability. You can't adjust the steering wheel coming backward and forward, but you can adjust the rake of it by this dial here. The only way you can adjust it being closer and further away from you is you loosen these straps. I'll show you. And the whole thing, as you can see, can either lay further down flat or more upright. And this depends on what sort of racing you're doing. Obviously, if you're going more Formula 1 style, you can lay it right down, so you're more laid out. But you're going to get to a point where the steering wheel is hard to reach. So, you know, it's a compromise between the two. But, you know, it's to be expected at this price range and how this functions. I have it more of a upright, bit more GT style. And it obviously is going to depend on your size of your build as well, and how you need it to be in relation to how you want it to be, if that makes sense. So the pedals have some adjustability too. Again, there's no option to raise or lower them without yourself putting something under, which I have done before. With the Logitech pedals, I had a monitor stand under there holding them up and did the job perfectly. With these I don't need that, but you can undo these. Just two little things here. And look at that, slides back and forward, and they do hold it in place. I'm braking really hard in places and that's not moving. If you don't want this, you can turn these two and it just comes off like that, if you've got some other solution in mind. But why you would, I don't know. I mean, that's part of having this rather than just a chair. Routing the cables, once you've got it in place, it comes with a load of Velcro ties. I'll just tie one to the side, keeps it out of the way so you're not touching your legs. I mean, there's more hanging around, but like I said, I don't need them. There are Velcro straps on the back here around sort of your lumbar area, and a massive one there under your butt and one under your thighs there. Tightening or loosening these makes the seat more firm, soft, or more comfortable in my case. I'm not a small guy, so I've loosened it a bit here, and it just means my legs are sat further down in relation to the rest of me, and just added comfort and more room here. If you have it really tight, as you can imagine, your knees end up hitting here. So when you get it, you just experiment, you find what's comfortable. I started out with it all really tight, thinking that's the way to go, but that turned out not to be the case. Getting in and out the cockpit, turn that unlocks it, lift the wheel up, drop in, back down, there we go, that's my seat position, something like that. Comfort wise, it is comfortable. I mean, I've done long sessions in it, quite long hours of just online racing and iRacing project cars. The only slight issue, it's not really an issue because it's not bruised me, it's not really made me regret my purchase in any way. These little bits here, these brackets, they stick inwards of the frame, so if you're a big guy like me, they can push in your legs. But like I said, it's not that big an issue. Maybe there could have been something better, another solution, but not something I worry about. Now the build quality of this thing, I'd say is pretty good. The material's all Alcantara, it's really nice red stitching. I've had it for quite a while. My cat's had a go at it here and there, but it's held up well. And plastic in the sort of back bit of the headrest, which there's nothing you can do about this headrest. I found it to be an issue with virtual reality. Okay, using the Vive Pro, the bit on the back of your head is quite large in relation to the original Vive, and it would hit against here. I've solved that, literally just a cushion here, moves you forward a little bit, still perfectly comfortable, still feels realistic. Even racing seats can have a lumbar cushion or whatever, and it just moves you away a little bit and gives you that perfect space for virtual reality. So it works perfectly fine. Regarding the rigidity, as I said, obviously it's better than just a wheel stand because it's all one piece, so to speak, and solid. But it's quite thin tubing. This is only held here with this sort of rake adjustment dial thing here. I can't think of the technical term, but there is some, as you can see, look, there is some movement like that. But when you're racing, realistically, you're not feeling it, you're not noticing it. You're not driving along doing that. No one's driving along doing that. And especially if you're in virtual reality, your mind just tunes it all out anyway. You know, you're there, you're immersed, you're in the car, and it's perfect for that. It doesn't have any left to right movement. Obviously it's moving a bit there because I'm not sat in it, but there's no left to right movement of the wheel at all. And the pedals, if you can secure them in such a way as I have, that's very rigid. It's still never going to be as good as, you know, mounted on an expensive actual rig, but especially if you use the lower end Logitech ones that are lighter and don't need such a firm brake push, they're perfect for that. Okay, now obviously one of the big reasons for buying this, if not the biggest reason, is that you need to save space. With that in mind, let's give you some idea of how much room, how much floor space this takes up when set up. At the moment it's set up in a fairly neutral position, not too upright, not too laid back. So let's give it a little measure here. Width wise, you're looking at around 21, just over 21 inches, about 54 centimeters. But bear in mind, when you open this, the wheel flaps open, so you can't put it right against the wall on the left side. There you're looking at adding, I mean, of course this is very rough, but you're adding on another 17 inches, 43 centimeters or so, something like that. So just bear in mind you need some room on your left. Height, not that should be an issue, but just to give you an idea, the height of the seat itself, as I've got it, is about 95 centimeters or so, just over 37 inches. But length you might need to know. In fact, let's do length with it extended out. I mean, that's extended pretty far. I don't want to go so far that they come off the ends. Well, I'm not going scientific, if being exact here, but right, you're looking at about 59, about 150 centimeters. So that just gives you an idea of how much room it takes up, how much you can lay it out. So this is just a lap of me going around Imola on Project Cars 2 in the Honda IndyCar. IndyCar isn't really a big thing for me, being over in the UK, but a little league I'm in, had it on the race calendar, so I joined it and it was good fun. So I'm not the best in it, but here we go. So as you can see, I can move my head freely. I've got the cushion behind me. The back of the Vive Pro isn't interfering with the headrest anymore. I've got a lot of room to look around while still remaining comfortable and feeling realistic. If you watch the steering wheel, I can't feel in-game any movement at all. I'm not aware of it. Yes, it can move a little bit, but to me the mind tunes it out and you're not shaking it up and down anyway. The pedals, what you can see of them, you can see that they're fixed in place. I can brake hard when I need to. You know, I'm no expert driver, but you know, I think I'm okay with my pedal control. And they're staying in place. The two little dials lock them nicely in place. Overall, you know, I'm impressed with it. It's much more realistic than sat at your desk. The driving position's all wrong. Wheel stands are great, sure, but this is even better. Everything's where it needs to be and holds in position and holds steady. So, final thoughts on the Playseat challenge. I like it. I've had different setups before, obviously starting out with the steering wheel clamped to my desk, sat here in an office chair. If your foot pedals aren't positioned in such a way against the wall, they'll move back. I had them before bolted to a bit of wood which was pushed against the wall, so I sorted that out. But in an office chair, you know, unless you're in someone else, obviously if you're in a chair with legs, fine, but your position is all wrong. You're never going to be able to get an ideal, realistic seated racing position. You get that with this. It's quite adjustable, as I've shown, and it's comfortable and it's durable, and I think it's well priced for £145 or so. and depending on where you buy it from, I don't know, elsewhere in the world you may need to pay more, I don't know, but you can even find discount codes. As you saw, perfect for virtual reality. I could move my head around without it being interfered with the Vive Pro. And the steering wheel feels great, the pedals feel great, and even I've got a way of setting up a gear shift, which I'll probably do another little video about. Playseat sell an add-on, which to me looks like just a metal bar which utilises the clamps on the steering wheel. But your steering wheel is going to be up high, your gear shift is going to be up high right next to the steering wheel. I'll show you my system, but it allows you for very cheap, very easy to have the gear shift either side in a fairly realistic position. But anyway, back to the Playseat challenge. Yeah, fully recommend it if you're thinking about it, if it's because you want to save money and it's a lower price than a lot of its competitors, fine, but if you're worried about room, this is the option for you. You can have it put away in moments, and the fact you can get out in moments means you're not going to think, ugh, you know, can I be bothered right now? If you want a quick race, you can have a quick race, and you can have it put away before anyone moans at you. So, yeah, consider it.